Good morning. Today's Friday, January 21st. We're bringing you the latest news, making headlines to help start your day.
We're following a developing story from Brookhaven this morning. A doctor was randomly shot and killed while he was sleeping.
Terrible story. Police say he was visiting loved ones from out of town, and now they need your help tracking down a suspect. Our Tori Cooper has the latest on what police are saying about all of it as she starts off our coverage in today's Morning News Rewind.
Morning, Rob. Police say that someone was firing those gunshots aimlessly into the air on Sunday night, just a block away from where Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying with his girlfriend. And they say ultimately, guys, Dr. Matthew Wilson took a bullet to the head. Now, I want everyone at home to take a look at this map, because this is where this shows how far police believe that Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying from where that bullet originated. They say the bullet originated on Buford Highway, and they say Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying on Claremont Road in an apartment complex with his girlfriend, sleeping peacefully when he was struck by that bullet.
You have somebody that is a complete innocent victim and had nothing to do with anyone that was involved in this type of reckless act, has now lost their life.
Yeah, just absolutely devastating. They say that Claremont Road and Buford Highway run parallel to one another, both north and south. And that's why, again, they believe these apartment complexes are just backed up against each other. They're hoping that witnesses in the area that night may have heard or saw something. I just checked in with police again. They still do not have any new information to share with us. But of course, if you do, make sure you reach out to Brookhaven Police as soon as possible. Reporting live in Brookhaven, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Just a terrible story. In just an instant, so many lives have now been
devastated. You think of the odds of that happening, but then also the fact that it shouldn't even happen in the first place because somebody was doing it aimlessly.
Yeah. Tori, thanks so much for that. We'll be following that story throughout the day today. A North Georgia teacher is accused of trying to meet up with a 16-year-old for sex. Investigators say Michael Powers, a Whitfield County teacher, messaged an undercover officer who was posing as a teenager online. The 36-year-old allegedly sent explicit photos while asking to meet that person and even threatened her in an effort to try to get nude photos. He's now facing a number of charges, including aggravated child molestation.
6:36 this morning. We're keeping an eye on today with the other stories you need to know.
Today, children won't be in the classroom in more than 1,600 schools nationwide. Still, President Biden says 95% of schools are open. COVID responses vary from state to state. In Louisiana, the governor says there are so many cases, schools can't keep up. In Illinois, there's a big vaccination push, while Massachusetts is focusing on regular testing. In Virginia, some parents are suing over that governor's executive order making masks voluntary in schools. In Utah, the governor wants to raise teacher pay to address the shortage.
Congressional investigators are now looking into why President Trump did not stop the mob on January 6th during the insurrection last year. The House panel is asking to speak to Ivanka Trump. She's one of the people who asked her father to call off the rioters that day.
A recall alert for frozen chopped spinach this morning. Frozen Food Development is recalling specific lots of Lytle brand 12-ounce packages of frozen spinach. The recall is for a possible listeria contamination. They were sold in 9 states, including Georgia. The batches of spinach have a best buy date of September 10th, 2023. You can return it for a refund.
Get ready for tax season. Starting on Monday, the IRS will begin accepting tax returns. The agency is already warning people to be prepared for delays. The IRS is dealing with a backlog from last year's tax returns, partially to blame on processing stimulus checks and staffing shortages because of the pandemic.
A new report shows a quarter of all Americans just don't get enough physical activity. The CDC mapped the activity of people in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and they found that people who live in the South tended to be the least active. The highest rate of activity, you guessed it, Colorado. Some of Metro Atlanta's most prominent doctors are sounding the alarm about the horrors they're seeing among patients who are not vaccinated against COVID.
CBS 46's Rebecca Schramm is live at Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center this morning. Rebecca, the doctors made a rare joint plea to the public to get the shots.
They did, Robin Gervier. They tell us they're at a point where they're having to ration care to only the sickest patients. And it's happening not just here, but at hospitals all across Metro Atlanta and across Georgia. In a virtual news conference, leading doctors from several Atlanta hospitals said they continue to see a pattern. The sickest patients and the ones who are dying are almost always the ones who are unvaccinated. They're dealing with overcrowded emergency rooms, ICU nurses that are stretched impossibly thin, and overall staffing shortages from workers who aren't necessarily sick, but they test positive and have to isolate. All of this comes as the Biden administration is giving more than $100 million from the American Rescue Plan to healthcare workers to help fight burnout. In the news conference, one local doctor said she's been hearing comments from people saying they're thinking about intentionally exposing themselves to the Omicron variant just to get it over with.
That is a terrible idea. We have staffing issues. We have therapeutic shortages. We are triaging care. This is not the time to take a risk like that with your life.
And doctors say those treatments in the hospital that everyone's been raving about, well, they're running out of those. So bottom line, they say it's going to be a long time before COVID is over with. So the best defense is to get vaccinated. Live in Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Rebecca, thank you for that. At 6:34, we are following a tragic story that's developing from Brookhaven this morning. Police say a doctor was shot while he was sleeping.
Yeah, they say he was visiting from England to see his girlfriend. Our Tori Cooper has been following this story. Tori, what are police telling you?
Yeah, good morning, Rob. Police say that someone was firing those gunshots aimlessly into the air on Sunday night, just a block away from where Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying with his girlfriend. And they say ultimately, guys, Dr. Matthew Wilson took a bullet to the head. Now, I want everyone at home to take a look at this map, because this is where this shows how far police believe that Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying from where that bullet originated. They say the bullet originated on Buford Highway, and they say Dr. Matthew Wilson was staying on Claremont Road in an apartment complex with his girlfriend, sleeping peacefully when he was struck by that bullet.
You have somebody that is a complete innocent victim and had nothing to do with anyone that was involved in this type of reckless act, has now lost their life.
Yeah, just absolutely devastating. They say that Claremont Road and Buford Highway run parallel to one another, both north and south. And that's why, again, they believe these apartment complexes are just backed up against each other. They're hoping that witnesses in the area that night may have heard or saw something. I just checked in with police again. They still do not have any new information to share with us. But of course, if you do, make sure you reach out to Brookhaven Police as soon as possible. Reporting live in Brookhaven, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Just a terrible story. In just an instant, so many lives have now been
you think of the odds of that
and
happening,
changed.
but then also the fact that it shouldn't even happen in the first
Correct.
place because somebody was doing it aimlessly.
Yeah. Tori, thanks so much for that. We'll be following that story throughout the day today. A North Georgia teacher is accused of trying to meet up with a 16-year-old for sex. Investigators say Michael Powers, a Whitfield County teacher, messaged an undercover officer who was posing as a teenager online. The 36-year-old allegedly sent explicit photos while asking to meet that person and even threatened her in an effort to try to get nude photos. He's now facing a number of charges, including aggravated child molestation.
A recall alert this morning for some baby loungers. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says parents and caretakers should immediately stop using these loungers: Podster, Podster Plush, Bumsy, and the Podster Playtime. It comes after the deaths of 2 babies who suffocated. Remember, experts say the best place for a baby to sleep is on its back, on a firm, flat surface in a crib, bassinet, or play yard.
Consumer news this morning: sales of existing homes hit a 15-year high in 2021. 6.1 million homes were sold, according to the National Association of Realtors. That was an 8.5% jump over 2020 sales. Low mortgage rates and strong demand drove up those sales. That's expected to ease as interest rates go up. Mortgage rates now at the highest level in almost 2 years.
Peloton stock plunged yesterday after a report said the company was temporarily halting production of some fitness equipment. Peloton CEO said it was just rumors halting all the production bikes and treadmills, and that they were false. But he did say the company was, quote, resetting its production levels.
Amazon is opening a brick and mortar clothing store. It's called Amazon Style. It's going to be located in a Los Angeles shopping complex. It'll feature men's and women's apparel, shoes, and accessories. Amazon hoping to have something for every budget with a wide range of price points. Amazon Style is going to be about 30,000 square feet. If you're wondering how big that is, that's about the size of a TJ Maxx store.
Okay.
Trending this morning, Adele calling off her residency as Omicron is causing concerns.
Yeah, our Brooks Baptiste joins us with the stories topping your social media feeds. A lot of people are going to be disappointed by this, Brooks.
Yeah, I'm talking about the fans, guys. And you know why they're waking up disappointed? Because some paid $22,000 for tickets. So as you can imagine, the disappointment is real, and Adele fighting back tears while sharing the news online.
My show ain't ready. We've tried absolutely everything that we can to put it together in time and for it to be good enough for you, but we've been absolutely destroyed by delivery delays and COVID.
Yeah, COVID affecting just about everything. She went on to say that half of her team has actually been down with COVID, and she apologized for the short notice. Titled Weekends with Adele, the singer was set to perform 2 shows each weekend, starting tonight at the Coliseum of Caesars Palace Hotel. Well, this morning, it's a conversation that started in the classroom and it has now gone viral on Twitter. A professor from Pennsylvania's Wharton School asked her students how much they believe the average U.S. worker made each year. Well, as you can see in that tweet, 25% of them thought it was over 6 figures. Even one person saying they thought it was $800,000 a year. Yeah, in reality, that number is around $51,000. But because that tweet has gained so much traction online, it's led to another conversation challenging wealth inequality. Well, all right, we know about a Big Mac, we know about the McDouble, and now Rodney's got something to get excited about. Maybe he probably won't get excited about this one. It's called the McPlant. McDonald's is announcing that it's rolling out a new vegan burger at select restaurants in the U.S., and this new plant-based item is made of peas, rice, potatoes, all the healthy stuff. The fast food chain has already launched this food item in other countries, but I got to tell you guys this. Critics are saying that the McPlant has more salt than a large fry. What sense does that make?
None.
Not a whole lot.
That's not healthy.
There's some news for your blood pressure. I got to go back to the salary thing
me
real
too.
quick, Brooks.
Yeah.
What it tells me is these Penn students' parents make so much money that they don't know what average is.
Ivy League,
Thinking
baby.
6 figures.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, Wharton, the school that you mentioned, that is a business school, like one of the most elite business schools.
Yeah, I was going to say
It's number
elite.
two.
In the
number
country.
2 in the
In the
number 2 in
country.
the country.
Man, I need to teach a class
yeah.
on common sense, all right? That's wild. Brooks, thank you. A high-speed chase caught on camera in Peachtree City. After swerving through multiple intersections, police were able to use a pit maneuver to stop the car. The driver, Jordan Johnson, is facing several charges, including DUI, driving with a suspended license, and trying to elude police.
It's 15 minutes after 6 and a crime alert this morning. 2 teens carjacked at gunpoint while they were on school campus. It happened at Lithonia High School 1 week ago today. The Simpson family's 19-year-old daughter was picking up her 15-year-old brother when 2 men pointed guns and told them to get out. The suspects got in the car and sped off. The victim's mother says the district should have immediately alerted other families, but did not. And now she says her children are traumatized.
Anytime I leave the house, he automatically puts a chair to the door. The school resource officer told him that because my daughter's purse was taken, our address is known. So they're terrified even more. I'm wondering, would it have been different had I been there instead of my daughter? I actually, at one point, I blamed myself because she was doing it because I couldn't.
Atlanta police did find the family's car this week. DeKalb County Schools sent us a statement saying, in part, the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and stakeholders remains a top priority.
Developing this morning, Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis wants a special grand jury to help her investigate former President Donald Trump and his alleged efforts to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. Willis sent a letter to the chief judge of Fulton County's Superior Court requesting the grand jury. She says a grand jury is needed because a significant number of witnesses have refused to cooperate. The investigation has centered on the call the former president made to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. During that call, Mr. Trump urged Raffensperger to, quote, find votes that could reverse President Biden's win in Georgia.
And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Special grand juries are not used often in Georgia. They do not have the power to return an indictment, but they can make recommendations on criminal prosecutions. Okay, as Omicron cases surge nationwide, airlines are still struggling to keep passengers in masks.
One Florida woman refusing to comply with the mandate caused a plane to have to turn around in mid-flight. Brooks Baptiste in studio, and Brooks, this comes after the rate of unruly passenger incidents actually reached record highs last year.
Absolutely. You know, I put it like this. Here we are 21 days into the new year. And just to put things into perspective for you, the FAA says that it's had to deal with nearly 100 mask incidents so far. Passengers were on their way to London from Miami when this American Airlines plane was forced to turn around over the Atlantic about an hour after takeoff. Now, the airline's releasing a statement saying it was, quote, due to a disruptive customer refusing to comply with the federal mask requirement. Now, that woman who was responsible for this, she was not arrested, but it was likely a costly decision by American Airlines.
That is a significant diversion. I can't imagine how much that must have cost the airline, and we'll see if that cost is actually put on the passenger, the offensive passenger who caused the unruly incident.
Now, in the year 2021, the FAA reported about 4,300 mask incidents, which is a steady decline from 2020. But it just shows you, here we are nearly 2 years into the pandemic, and flight attendants are still forced to deal with this reality. And some have even given up their jobs because of this.
It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
It's simple.
And it's not over yet.
You just have to follow the rules
right.
In the airports and on airlines. All right.
Thanks.
Brooks, thank you. Caught on camera, a 1,000-pound moose trapped in a Colorado basement. Police tried to get it to leave on its own by opening the doors, but the moose wouldn't go up the stairs.
Oh.
Can a moose go upstairs? Probably, right? But when all else failed, they used a tranquilizer to put the moose to sleep. 10 people had to drag the huge animal up the stairs. They did have to trim the antlers, but experts say they naturally lose their antlers around this time of year anyway. The moose suffered a cut to his leg, but the basement was not so lucky. The owner will also need a new ping pong table.
Oh my gosh.
We have a health alert this morning. Pediatricians warn scoliosis is being detected among kids much later because of the pandemic. Experts believe the lack of school screenings is to blame. They say it could make treatment more challenging because early detection can mean the difference between physical therapy or surgery. The bottom line, make sure your children have that annual checkup.
And new research is once again trying to reassure women and men that COVID-19 vaccines do not affect fertility. Boston University studied more than 2,000 couples who were trying to conceive. Researchers found the vaccines had no impact on men or women, but they did find couples had lower chances of getting pregnant if the man got COVID in the last 60 days.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.